This is the Rise Up Morning Somewhere show, and we are live. This is Security by the incomparable Otis Redding.
Perfect.
Good now.
I want security, yeah. Without it, I got a great long.
Perfect.
Oh, now, security, yeah. And I want it at any cost. Oh, now. Don't want no money right now. I don't want no things. But security, I have all of these things, yeah. All of these things, yeah. Security, yeah. That's all from you. Oh, now. Security, yeah. And a little love that will be true. Oh. Don't sleep tender lips, you know they tell me that you're the one for me. Lord, how can I forget? How can I forget? Yeah. I want security, yeah. I'm telling you once again. Oh, now, security, and I want it in the end. Oh, no sweet tender lips, you know they tell me that you're the one for me. Darling, how can I forget? How can I forget? Yeah. Come on, with just a little bit of soul, now, baby. No, everything's gonna be all right. One more time, just one more time, baby. Don't it sound pretty good right now, too? Yeah.
Good now, revolutionaries. If you're listening on YouTube, I am so glad that you're here. So glad that you're here watching with us. Nobody's listening on Twitter yet. Alex, would you believe it? The shenanigans continue. As I went to share the Twitter space, I got a notification from Twitter that said our account had been locked and I needed to verify our phone number. So as we speak, our friend,
Brilliant.
the Oracle Lorden, is getting a verification text message, and hopefully he'll answer and give me the
Dude.
code. Otherwise, we might just be on YouTube today.
You know what?
What a break, man.
Is what it is. The deck is just perpetually stacked against us, it seems, with content creation lately. Let's see. The last couple days, we hosted the season 4 of the Syndicate Games season finale on Twitter and just got dunked on repeatedly with that space.
Yeah.
I lost audio and then it just kicked me out and ended the space. It was horrible. And yeah, just before we went live here, we were discussing how we are currently, well, ideally in a perfect world, we'd be live here on monitor 1 for YouTube. We got the other one with the Twitter space, the Discord space, which is not live recording, but chat, and then TikTok on the other phone. So it's a lot of things to keep burning.
Can you spin the wheels for just a second for me? I'm messaging
For sure.
Mac on every one of his applications and saying
On everything.
Hey.
Yeah, of course, it's really funny that you said that, Evan, because just right when you said that, I just got a notification from TikTok that it was like your live is under review, and now I'm waiting for them to reinstate it.
That's okay. Our brother SkullElf is on the other. They must have known we were talking about important stuff today. SkullElf says, take your time. Several members of Team Multiverse X are going to join. That's just great. You know what we could do? Do you want to port the Twitter space over and host it as the Faceless Many? I bet I could do that.
We can.
Give me just a second.
Yeah, sure.
Go ahead. You stall the people. Let me create a space real quick.
Stalling. Hey guys. What about them markets, huh? No, you know what? I actually today had my first real market observation, and I don't do this kind of thing, but like I noticed something. So I'll regale you all with my my plebeian market observation here while Evan is sorting out our
Thank
various recordings and streamings. So Evan, all I need from you is a couple mm-hms and some like light pondering grunting sounds coming from your side, and I think we'll be good to go. He's hot in the zone. But anyway, so you know how when we were in the throes of the bull market, we would see news, and we started to get closer and closer and closer to that top, to that peak. We would see more and more and more stuff, like big news happening, like really, really big partnerships announced, or, you know, pretty momentous just developments, technological developments or whatever, start to come out, and we would stop pumping. You know, we wouldn't see those returns print right away in the market. Flip to the bear market for the last year plus, and we've just been seeing, you know, like catastrophic event after catastrophic event, and we were seeing, you know, crashes alongside those. We would see, you know, 10+% dips written into the markets as soon as something would go live. Of course, we're all familiar with like the big, you know, the FTX debacle. You know, there's a whole bunch, you know, a bunch of people going bankrupt, defaulting on this going out of business, layoffs over here, whatever. And then we would see, you know, the market correction that would come alongside of it. And I'm realizing, honestly, Evan, just because of the stuff you were kind of showing me earlier today, that, you know, we're still getting these bearish events, and we're just not seeing the react. People are just numb. And it's reminding me of that time in the bull market when people were numb to really cool developments and really cool advancements in the industry that were not being reflected in the market sentiment. And so it just made me think, like, if I were to ever try to analyze, you know, market sentiment based on this, that, and the other thing, this right now would make me think that we are like at peak bear market. How long does it last? Zero clue, not a clue. But it's becoming harder and harder for me to imagine, you know, that it's going to get a whole lot worse, I guess, is kind of what I'm realizing.
So I don't mean to not comment, but it looks like I'm going to be locked out from the TFM profile too. I don't know if it's my personal device or what. My plea for anyone in the audience is just real quick, if you would be so kind, go over to Twitter and let me know if you can see that TFM is hosting a space right now. I can't comment about it. I'm the only one there. What I'm thinking we'll do is we'll just share the StreamYard link with SkullElf. You can join us that way. And then we can invite everybody over to YouTube. It'll be fine. We'll do the show on YouTube today.
Yep.
You know?
No, that totally works.
So, but
for me.
somebody leave me a comment and just let me know, because I'm just curious what the user experience is like on your end. And then thank you so much for your patience and for bearing with us, because we got a great show today. We really do.
Let me, yeah, annoying that it's today of all days.
I know.
But hey, we adapt and overcome. That's basically all we do. Yeah, I have no indication that there is a TFM space or anything going on right now. So we might just be on YouTube, and then a little bit on TikTok here.
Let me get the YouTube link.
Yeah,
actually, Alex, can you do me a favor? Can you go to YouTube real quick and get the YouTube link and just paste it in our private chat, and I'll share it to SkullElf?
Absolutely.
God bless you. YouTube is good, but can emoji spam. Yeah, SkullElf, I'm sending you a StreamYard link. What we're going to do is we'll get the YouTube link. We'll post it from all our accounts. We'll invite everybody to join us here. I'm sending you the StreamYard link momentarily, and we'll get you up.
YouTube link is in our DM, Evan.
Beautiful. Oh, our Discord DM. Man, we're so many places.
Well,
we're everywhere except Twitter Spaces.
The problem is that I've got a separate computer doing all of the stream stuff, and then all of my comms are on a different monitor or a different
you're
computer.
Wild, crazy guy.
We all actually, Bill just caught on. This is all a broader conspiracy theory to get Bill off of his soundboard.
Yeah, it really could be. Which makes me so sad, because nobody does it like Bill. Really, right. Truly.
You know, I'm glad that if any one of these things was to succeed, I'm glad that at least we have our new YouTube setup working out here. Because this has been super fun and super cool to add this to the whole thing. But you know what we're missing right now, Evan?
What's that, brother?
You already know what it is.
Ooh, a little night driving music. You're so right. Ooh, baby.
Dude, this is my single favorite feature on StreamYard for everyone listening is the pre-recorded background music sounds, and this one especially, night driving. You pair this with Evan's voice, and you just got yourself a recipe to be seduced.
Hey, baby. I know you're tuning into the stream right now.
Oh, it's too good. Dude, especially you opened up with Otis Redding. There's another iconic voice right there.
I mean, you just can't go wrong.
No, can't beat it.
All right, I am almost done. I'm going to share this link, and then I will give us a proper introduction, and we will get rolling. I see SkullElf has just joined. I'm going to quick retweet this from Faceless Labs.
Brilliant.
And then we'll be set.
Well, I guess, hey, you know what we were talking about beforehand? I have no need to let everyone believe that I might not be paying attention because I only have one thing to look at.
You only got
right
one
now.
place to look. Yeah, same. And this is the other great thing about this is like we have, we do POAPs and stuff. We've got the POAP instructions down in the comments. Super easy, super helpful. So shall we bring SkullElf in and then I'll take it from the top like we planned it?
Absolutely. Yep. Really quick, before I kick it to you for that, let me just give a quick PSA to the TikTok viewers that, as the title suggests, today we are talking about blockchain security. I guess broader, just web security in general. Evan and I are, internet natives, but we are by no means experts and subject matter experts when it comes to these specific kinds of things. So we have brought a subject matter expert today. So if you are looking to learn from a true professional, hop over onto the YouTube stream, and I, without further ado, I'll kick it over to you to introduce the incomparable SkullElf himself.
Well, before we introduce SkullElf, I do want to tell you, if you're joining in for the first time, we here at the Rise Up Morning Show are all about helping everyday people at all levels of experience get a deeper understanding of cryptocurrency, NFTs, blockchain technology, Web3 more broadly, and why it matters to folks like us personally. Alex and I are architects for Faceless Labs, which is on a mission to lead the financial revolution and empower the faceless many, all of us who will rise up to write a better future with what we know. So you are, as they say, early. It is morning somewhere, and we're about to get about the business of rising up. We wouldn't ask you to come without offering you anything in return. So Alex, will you let them know what we have for them today and how they can claim it as we prepare for the show?
I'm going to have to pivot in a big way, Evan, and not reference your pinned tweet to the top of the space.
All you're going to have to do is pivot to the description in the bottom because it's
I've
literally
been
right
my
here.
whole life as a content creator to say it's down below. I've never created content anywhere where I actually had a down below. So we are, Willem's here now. There we go. Willem's in the chat to help us keep this entertaining. So yes, as Evan mentioned, we do a POAP for every single episode. And if you don't know, a POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. It's simply a cool way to tokenize the fact that you did a thing and memorialize that on a blockchain forever. So all you have to do to claim it is head over to the Faceless Many Discord, and right up at the top, there is a channel called the Bot Hub. And that panel, that interface, has a big shiny button, says POAP right there on it. All you need to do, you don't need an account with anything. You don't have to pay for anything. You don't even have to pay for gas. It's totally free. You can link a wallet if you want. You do not have to. And that'll take you right over to POAP to mint your free NFT. And Evan is going to give you the first half of the secret word here imminently. And the second half will be given to you somewhere near the top of the hour. So when prompted, enter that full password in, no spaces, no punctuation, no funny business, and get yourself a free POAP.
That's exactly right. It's a good one today, featuring Pink Llama PFP art in honor of our guest. And the first part of the secret word, really it's a secret phrase today, is take it from me. Take it from me. So just like it sounds, all lowercase, no spaces, and you, yes, you can mint your very own POAP. my friend Alex would say,
in light of this, give it a try.
it's easy. And now, without further ado, I would love to welcome SkullElf. SkullElf, brother, thank you so much for joining us on the show. We're glad to have you here. How are you today?
Doing very good, thank you. What about you guys?
So good. So good.
We're making it. We're making it, dude. You know, we had plan A, then we had plan B, and now we're at plan C. So thank you for being flexible and
We're at
rocking with
plan
us.
llama
I
now.
so appreciate it. Yeah, we'll just keep going. If this fails, you know Morse code, right? Like we can telegram it, literally.
Oh no, not Telegram, please.
I'm just kidding.
You know, that sounds like a good segue for a little bit later. I would love to hear what SkullElf thinks of just some general things, some general web and internet-based tools that people use en masse, like Discord and Telegram and stuff like that. Things that are, because dude, like Telegram, in my head at least, is just, that's the place you go to get scammed. No one's actually talking on there, you know?
No. That's the place you go to ask a legitimate question and then get scammed.
Okay, fair enough.
You don't just cave to the scam. You need to go through the entire process.
A little
It's a whole
scam foreplay
process.
first, if you will. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
SkullElf-
It's like a dance you must engage in.
For people who don't know who you are and they're looking at this llama and they're like, okay, who is this guy? He could be anybody. Before we really get into the conversation, can you tell us a little about your background, your experience in security, and why folks listening should trust what you have to say?
I will jump to the last point. No one should trust what I'm saying. They should just listen. That's kind of the whole point of this episode. Not to trust people online. Just, listen to what they have to say. And if you agree with it, just follow. I'm SkullElf. That's at least my nickname, display name. I've been in the cybersecurity field for almost 10 years. In many different aspects, in forensics, cybercrimes investigations, ethical hacking, incident response, cloud analysis, pretty much everything there is to cybersecurity, offensive, defensive, I've done that. Guidance, consultancy, I did it all.
His profile
Usually-
pic is a llama. Of course, he's trustworthy. That's what people say.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
Whenever
And it, it's pink. That says it all.
I should say the llama is always pink. Whenever I vaguely describe SkullElf to someone who's never heard of him before, I usually start with, imagine if Morpheus was a real person. And that usually paints a good enough picture.
But more intimidating.
More intimidating.
And maybe
yeah.
even more mysterious.
And I don't know if SkullElf would rock the Morpheus trench coat and the little those little pinch on. Did you ever have those, Evan? The little pinch on glasses that just they have no frame.
No, it's
I
usually
absolutely would.
sunglasses.
Yeah, I believe it. One of the things before we get into some of the questions about what are security best practices? Why should you consult a security expert? Problems you see in the space. I want to say hi to our friends who are here. Obviously, Willem's here, Christopher's here, Lisa's here, Homer. If you are joining us and you have a question for SkullElf, I would invite you to leave it in the comments. We're going to watch it throughout the show. We'll pin it up. And as people do that, SkullElf, I wanted to invite you to open with a story. I'm an advisor at Kavari. I have been a beta tester on the platform, and we had a conversation with Ryan on the Rising Up podcast that's yet to be released. But I wanted you to tell me a story and our listeners a story about your process, just offering help where you can, specifically a story about a live stream bug and a bunch of llamas on Kavari.
No.
Can you share
It
it?
was a screaming goat, not a llama.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a screaming goat.
Yes.
Would you tell the story for people about what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, pretty much on every tweet that Benjamin does on a platform or a product that just deserves the credit, I go there and I check what it is, what it's about, how it works, and yeah, that's kind of what I do as a technical guy. And me being me, instead of actually logging in, I checked how I can fake my login and become other people. Pretty quickly, I was able to connect with any wallet I wanted, and then there is just the streaming keys over there. And again, me being me, hey, I can stream as other people. I sent Ryan a message on Telegram telling him about like who I am, what I found, and so on. And based on his answers, I got the impression that he's saying, yeah, no, that's not really an issue. Like, you can't do anything in the profile. You can't change the fields, the profile picture, and so on. And he was right. However, again, streaming keys. I went there, opened OBS, and I started thinking to myself, what am I going to stream? Naturally, I started searching for llamas, and then I realized, 10 hours of a screaming goat. That sounds good. Yeah, and so
Iconic.
the stream began. I have absolutely no idea whose account I was using, but they got quite a lot of followers that day. And I mean, understandably, I would follow that content too. Top notch.
Absolutely, it's the content people need.
Exactly. And no one else is doing that over there. I mean, that's a first. You can't not follow that.
Yeah.
It's
So yeah, I recorded the screen, sent him a video, and then he goes, "Oh, okay, I see. You caught my attention. Let's fix that." And yeah, from random, just me going there, checking the platform, trying to find vulnerabilities, and creating a proof of concept. I reach out to the founder, and immediately they understand, okay, there is an issue here. We need to solve it. We need to work together. And someone else, if they found that, they could just abuse the vulnerability, exploit it, do whatever they want, and actually harm the platform, the project as a whole, and in turn also the community and the network, because we're still early, we're still growing, and we need to work together to actually bring the adoption, and a broken platform will not do that. So yeah, Ryan and I since then started working together. He actually he's reacting very fast because he's already working on a new version of Kavari with a bunch of security updates and aspects, and I'm also consulting them and helping them in that aspect. And yeah, that's pretty much something everyone needs, because no founder releases a product knowing they have an issue. Thing is, it's just that they don't know they have an issue, and there aren't enough people in security who are willing to reach out to the founder and not in a message of, hey, I found an issue, pay up.
Yeah.
Because that's something that is happening all the time in crypto. Like, it can be a scam, it can be real, and you as a founder, you hear that, like, I found a serious issue, and like, now you wonder, is it real? Is it not? What are we doing? Do we act on that? Do we pay them? Do we listen to them? Will they even talk to us without us paying? And yeah, everyone needs just someone to point out the issues out of the intention of actually pushing the network and the community forward instead of backwards for personal gains.
I will say, just to take us back in time a little bit, to the first conversation I ever had with SkullElf, it was a very similar scenario where he identified an issue that we had. SkullElf, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the first one was an issue with the RevPoints marketplace.
The marketplace.
Yep.
And so for a little bit of context, I was a little bit more familiar with this type of interaction just because my dad was a white hat hacker back in the day. He used to do this kind of thing a lot. So when a very well-spoken individual contacts me about a potential, security issue, it's on the front of my mind constantly. And he sent me basically like a quick and dirty little bug report. What was the issue? How did he do it? Whatever. And then he very quickly jumped into a conversation with our developers and worked alongside them to walk them through a fix. And I have just been indebted to you ever since, because like you said, that's not the most commonplace interaction. Usually the people with the skills, and to be honest, it's a very valuable skill. Like, you deserve to be paid, to provide that security, that help, that assistance to projects. But it can be intimidating, to get reached out to like that by somebody who is telling you that you can break their platform. And just a little bit of context for people who may not know what a stream key is. Whenever you broadcast live from an account, you have what is called a stream key, which is basically just, the big secret password that allows you to broadcast from your account. So like, if you're using a software like OBS, or something to broadcast to Twitch or to whatever, you would have to enter your stream key into that software so that you can actually broadcast on your account. So it's potentially a big deal to have that be compromised, because let's say you're a high profile individual with an account where people, follow you closely and care about what you have to say. And especially in this industry where they might be making personal financial decisions based on stuff that you post.
Yeah.
If somebody can nefariously and maliciously access your stream key from your account and broadcast whatever they want, pretending to be you, potentially catastrophic. So, having people around that can help you identify stuff. I mean, imagine if someone who wasn't the good Samaritan got their hands on that and then, used it maliciously instead of helping them fix it.
Well, we hear those stories every day. And
Totally.
SkullElf, in prep for this conversation, something that I noticed you said was that it often happens that way, that there's a founding team and they may not have security expertise, or they may think that they do when they don't, and something breaks that could have been prevented, that could have been built differently. And someone like you, with good intentions or bad, notices it and brings it to the team. It seems like it happens a lot that way, and maybe more so in Web3. Is that your experience? And I mean, is that the best way to do it? Is there a better way?
Evan, we talk about that a lot, that a lot of people are founding these projects not really realizing that they're basically just building little fintech companies. And cybersecurity needs to be one of the things that you're aware of and have on your mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And Lisa voiced it here too. Why do so many projects have so many hacks? Mm-hmm. Go ahead,
Exactly.
SkullElf.
So Web2 industry, like, companies, let's say Google, Facebook, or Amazon, or whatever, they have regulations, they have standards, they have audits, they have, like, in order to get investors, they need to show reports that they're doing penetration tests and, no critical issues or whatever. And Web3 doesn't really have that. Like, you can see the most amazing platform ever, and, it works fantastically. But it's just that. It's just a platform that is working fantastically because someone developed it and built it in a way that allows it to work in a really good way. What you don't know as a user is what happens behind the scenes. Did they ever check for security issues? Did they do any audits? Even if they did, you will almost never see the reports. It's very rare that you actually see the report and the findings. And, they will say, yeah, we did an audit. That's pretty much it. I saw a lot of Certic audits, like being talked about in BSC and Ethereum, and the projects, they just say, yeah, we did an audit. They don't share the results. They don't even share if they actually started the audit itself or just applied for it. And that's an issue. I mean, from the founder perspective, it's not really an issue because they are not supposed to share it. But how do you, as an investor, supposed to know what is happening? In Web2, you have like NDAs and contracts in place that allow you to ask for these details, and based on that, you choose whether you invest or not. Here in Web3, we, the users, are the investors. There is no end user. We are the investors, and we deserve to know, but we can't because we are also the users. So that's an issue kind of by design, and it was just destined to be there. And there is absolutely nothing we can do about it other than relying on a word of a founder. And yeah, it's just the case because it can be.
Willem adds this context here and says people don't always use security at the forefront of their build process due to costs. And also that it sounds like maybe there's just not as much focus on it or as much awareness that it is something.
There is no understanding of it.
Yeah.
No.
It's not about focus. Like if you knew what can happen in your platform, you would obviously say, oh, damn, I need to focus on that. But you will not hear about it until someone like me or others will actually abuse the bugs, be it for personal gains or for reporting out of good intentions. You will not know it's there because the platform is working fantastically. As I said, it's the best platform you've ever seen.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to know that someone can just hack it? Someone can now delete all the accounts. It's just not something that is there until it happens.
Yeah, I know that ours specifically, the problem that you pointed out for us, if I remember, it was a little while ago now, but if I remember it correctly, it was basically allowing somebody to illegitimately purchase stuff without actually buying it from the marketplace. They could like fake the transaction or something. I don't know. Do you remember specifically what it was?
Are you referring to the Faceless Many marketplace?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was basically, since the token, like the rev points are not something on chain, or at least at the time it wasn't, and there was no plan of doing it. All you have basically is just the connection of the wallet, and then it shows you the value of points that you have.
Right.
And since there is no transaction gating the action from happening, you could just use someone else's account and execute the purchases in their name, wasting their points. It was also, if you remember, revealing the traits of the corrupted.
Yep.
And yeah, pretty much anything that happens legitimately there could also happen illegitimately.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was. I remember now. And I mean, honestly, that's worse than just somebody faking a buy, to like.
Now, to be clear, at the time, the corrupted was all you had. It was that, like, the project was about that. And if it wasn't me, if it was someone else finding it and abusing it, what are you left with? You just lost pretty much all the traits that you have, like the concept of revealing them.
Point. Yep. We would have had to completely restructure.
Wow.
Relaunch the collection.
It would have gone specifically against what we had set out to do. Big exploit. I mean, it's one of those things. I'll be forever eternally grateful for that one, because that was a big one. I was super stoked about that feature specifically, and so if that one feature had been ruined, it would have been really bad.
Hey, SkullElf, I do want to ask some. Oh, I'm sorry, Alex. I was going to ask a couple of these questions from the audience. Is that okay?
Do it.
Lisa wanted to know.
Good ones.
Lisa wanted to know if you get bounties from your tests. Like when you do this for someone, it sounds like, Ryan and Kavari said, hey, this is valuable knowledge. We'd like to hire you as a consultant. But generally speaking, do you get compensated for this kind of work when you do it like that proactively?
In Ryan's case specifically, I reached out and disclosed the issue because, that's what I do. And only after disclosing it, he said, oh, you know what? It actually counts as a major bug for our bounty. I was like, oh, there is a bounty. Awesome.
And really quick, can you explain what a bounty is for somebody who might not know?
Bug bounty has many different aspects to it. The goal is to bring the community, the audience, the users, the testers to actually test your platform, your product, and find issues there. And it also brings a lot of new eyes to the project because, hey, I'm giving away money just to find issues, and that also always works. But also it ends up being cheaper and shows more transparency. And if you're saying I'm aware that I might have issues and I'm okay with it because there you go, I'm talking to you about it, that says a lot about the project, and you see that they are serious. Yeah. So basically, when you find on a bug bounty, you have different trophies and tiers, and prizes basically for each tier or trophy. And let's say in the security field, when we talk about trophies, it would be personal details disclosure or data leak, and hacking accessing the database or the administration dashboard, or just the sensitive stuff. In the field of bugs, it would be crashing the app, making it just not function, injecting it with payloads that can actually affect the flow of the processes. And yeah, there are, as I said, many different aspects of bug bounties, and they pay for these issues to be reported.
And I would say it sounds like if a team is not going to pay for security up front, and they're not going to pay bounties to people who help them, it sounds like they may not have enough money to really run a functioning company. Am I off with assuming that? Would you agree?
You are off, actually, because I don't have the funds to do it myself, to bring people to test my products as a company, as a business myself. But I know about security. That's my background. So I'm doing my own security. And if they do that, it's fine. However, most of the time they don't, because they don't understand, they don't know, they're not aware. And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to raise awareness for the security aspect of projects, and trying to make sure that people actually take it seriously, because right now the fact is they don't.
Well, then can we get into that, some of the step-by-step basics in terms of what are the bare essentials, the fundamentals? If someone is new and this is their first exposure, we're going to teach them, you want to start a company, or you want to be an investor, a wallet user in Web3 on the blockchain. What are some things you recommend they think about, they implement, they start doing today?
I recommend, first of all, to get rugged at least once or twice to understand how it feels when you lose everything, and then put yourself in the position of your users and understand that maybe something like that can happen to them. Are you
Can I just interrupt you quickly to say, that would be a great project to create. We could call it like Safe Rug. If you're new to the space, you got to come to Safe Rug. We'll give you got to pay $5 so you experience just a little bit of pain, and we will make you feel like you got rugged. We'll make you trust us. We'll make you love us. The art is so dope. It's going to the moon, and then we'll just rug you.
Well, then there are several projects like that on the network recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You had Pepe, for example, which specifically said he's going to rug, and then as soon as he minted out, he was like, yeah, bye. And then everyone was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Why did you rug us? What are you doing?
Okay,
so why did you invest in something that was a rug from the first place? And then, that's fine. Why are you disappointed?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say, though, is people need to have the experience so that they know, first of all, what to look for.
Yes. Not specifically what to look for, but rather to understand what can happen to the user. Like, are you comfortable going to sleep at night knowing that, this list of things can happen to your users while you're sleeping? Like, is that something you're okay with? If not, what are you going to do in order to actually change that? And yeah, it just, like, you can ask William. I'm talking to him quite a lot, and when I'm telling him about an issue, he goes, yeah, but how did they not know that? Like, how did they miss it? And I'm like, they didn't miss it. They just don't care. They make money. They don't care about actually investing in the product to make it better. They don't care about making the experience safer, because in terms of user experience and user interface and all of that, everything is still the same. It's the backend you're working on when you deal with security. And for a user, it will not change anything if you invested several $1,000s in actually securing your product properly, with tests, with audits, with all of that. And they say, for the odds that something might happen, it's not worth it. And that's also okay. But disclose it, talk about it, and bring it to your community. Tell them, listen, I didn't do security audit, and I would be fine with it. I would invest accordingly. But just convincing people and pushing them to invest more and more, knowing that you didn't do your best to ensure that their security and safety, that's just not cool.
Mm-mm. Alex, you look pensive.
He woke up Siri, and I'm trying to make her go away.
Okay, so it worked. Nice.
He's
Check the living
actively
room.
testing your security right now.
Check your
just
living
goes-
room. I'm there.
I'm listening, and there's like no way to close it out, and I'm like, stop it, get out of here, not right now.
I mean,
That's too funny. And he woke up the dogs now too. I can hear him flapping.
Yeah, now everyone's
hacked
all
the dogs.
discombobulated.
I don't know if you saw this, but this comment was too good not to share. David is experienced. Good thing I've been rugged at least a dozen times.
you're ready to be a founder, my friend.
Yeah. Okay, so once I've had that experience and I've decided that this is something I want to invest in, I want to get some audits, I want a security professional on my team. What kind of things what does that look like for a founder, or for a founder who's serious about it but doesn't know where to start? What should they do?
Start by asking other projects that
Okay.
they are basically an inspiration to you, and you know that you want to do what they did. Reach out to them, ask them. There is absolutely no shame in that, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Security services are out there. Knowing which ones are safe or not safe, there is no actual way of knowing that. And as I said at the start, do not trust me just because I'm here. Listen to others. Listen to what people have to say and learn from them, from the majority of the community and big projects and so on. Because if they got to where they are, maybe they did something right.
It's completely changed the way that I approach a lot. So Evan and I, with the rest of the Faceless Labs team, we've been having a lot of like product conversations, and how could this be built? This is a problem that we've identified. What could we theoretically do to fix this? Does this mean building a new protocol? Blah blah blah, whatever. And at this point, the first thing that I always think of is like, okay, I could do that. Perhaps we could do that this way. What's the easiest exploit that I can imagine happening there? And that's the first thing my dad will always say whenever I like run one of these ideas by him, is like, well, here's how I would break that on day one. And then we would start with that and go from there. And I definitely credit you with part of that too, because it's funny too. I was at the very beginning of my foundership, I was almost worse than just not caring, because I was very aware. Like I had grown up around this, like, dude, my home network that I like grew up learning about computers and all that sort of stuff on was so secure, because my dad was working out of the basement and he had all of his own stuff and whatever. So like he gave me the web security lecture when I was in 3rd or 4th grade.
Yes, the talk.
Yeah, that's the talk that I had with my dad.
When a man loves a woman very, very much, he uses random passwords with at least 16 characters.
Exactly.
And so, but I had this idea in my head, the same way that you do, like if you've never been in a car accident or you've never like had your house broken, just like that's a problem that other people experience. That's something that I read about in the news, like especially in Web3 and stuff.
It's just one of those, will not happen to me.
Yep, it can't happen to me, but I will read about it in the news, and then I'll read about that in the news, and I won't take any steps on my own side to like make something like, well, go back to square one. Like, what am I doing? I haven't had a problem yet, but like maybe I've just been lucky thus far. Because I think SkullElf, I'm sure you would agree that you can never be 100% secure and safe and completely immune from any attack. So it pays to be vigilant and keep up with current events and like new types of exploits that might be coming out. I wanted to get into a couple of those, like some of the more classic ones, and I know there was a question, Evan, in the chat that maybe could kind of help segue us into this. Let me scroll up and find it really quick. Here from Chris. So how could a criminal access your wallet by sending you an airdrop NFT or other token? Do you have to click on the NFT or allow access, somehow giving them access to your wallet? So SkullElf, we were talking last time after you left about like dusting and getting a malicious airdrop and what theoretically you could be opened up to danger-wise from interacting with something like that. So just I'd kick it over to you. Do you have any words of wisdom?
So let's start with talking about dust tokens
Yeah.
and explain what they are. Basically, the concept is I now just airdropped you 1 million tokens of something that is called very, very expensive. Because why not? Because I can.
Why not?
Hell yeah.
Obviously, it's very, very expensive, so you will go and try to sell it. On other networks, when you want to sell a token that you have to swap it on a DEX, what you do is basically you approve the actions of the smart contract behind the token to perform actions in your wallet, and then right after that, you would go and basically in the swap itself, you will tell the smart contract, come take these tokens for me, send them over there, and you're just a watcher. You're just sitting there and viewing everything that is happening. You can't actually do anything, and you're not the one performing the actions in the smart contract. You just let it perform the actions on your side. And when you sign this transaction of either approving or selling, you don't know what is actually happening. Maybe in the selling, like it depends on the DEX itself. When you sell, basically you talk to the smart contract behind the DEX, but on the approval itself, you're talking to the token. You have absolutely no idea who it is, what it is, who's behind it, why did you get it, and many people actually fall on that small thing. When they try to sell tokens that they just got, they would allow the smart contract to perform an action in their wallet, except instead of authorizing the activity of this token in your wallet, it's basically allowing them to drain your wallet, to completely empty it, to send everything to the hackers or the scammers' wallet, and you have nothing you can do to retrieve the assets back. Nothing at all, because it's blockchain. You don't own the assets. So
how then does a person
this is dust.
How do they protect themselves against that if they get a token sent to them, which could be legitimate? Like, for example, we sent a non-fungible token voucher, which could be, it was a promotion for our upcoming launch, the Faceless Many. It's something you can have some fun with. Check it out. Oh, we have.
But they know about it. We're heavily broadcasting the fact that we will be sending it. Yes.
Right. We're trying to educate our users to prepare them so they know that it's coming. They can trust us. But let's say somebody malicious sees that, catches the art, and creates a real Faceless Many NFT. How can our users or just a wallet holder somewhere protect themselves or verify what they receive?
To interject into that same question, SkullElf, what is the difference between the interaction you just described, where a smart contract would control the interaction like on a blockchain like Ethereum, versus on Elrond, where the NFTs are the ESDTs, the native tokens actually on chain?
Okay, so first of all, the point on how they can actually avoid interacting with dust tokens, the best way to do it is just embrace the fact that your wallet is being abused and you get a bunch of shit basically sent to it, and you just don't do anything with it. Just because you got airdropped something and it was added to your ledger or whatever automatically, it doesn't mean that you need to do something about it. You can hide it, you can block it, you can whatever. Don't sign any transactions related to it unless you know 100% what it is. And the risk is just not worth it. People do it all the time, and others never learn, because when you get 1 million something now, you say like, I'm rich. Damn, someone made a mistake. I just got a bunch of tokens. And you would go, you would try to sell it and to get money out of it. And by the way, it can actually have insanely high value. It can. That's like, it is possible if the token actually has a pull behind it.
Sure.
However, the smart contract is still not legitimate, and you will still end up losing all your items, all your assets, because you got blinded by the numbers. So yeah, that's how you handle it.
I think that's a question though that I have is like, okay, so I could choose not to do anything with it, but if it, in the case, to use the example of the Faceless Many voucher, or another token that has utility or value, which is from a source I know and trust, how does one go about that work of verifying? If I receive a token and I'm not certain if it's true or not, I don't want to risk that I might miss out on it. I want to do some more research. What are some things you would check?
Because that too,
or how would you?
That's one of those things, right? That you might want to be able to look at for things you're thinking about buying too, because a honeypot is another very common type of scam where rather than just be airdropped it, you might unknowingly purchase or
and not be able to sell because you're now stuck there. Mm-hmm. And the answer to that is security audits. As I mentioned, Certic is probably the biggest one. And yeah, you just need to do your research, to look into the project itself and see who's behind it, what they're doing to keep you safe. And if you don't see any of that, don't invest in it. Like,
and I would add too,
you can say you trust it all you want, but the fact is, people are here to make money. Some of them are doing it in a not legitimate way because, more money, faster, and easier.
So I would add for people too, in addition to a security audit, you said last time about checking URLs, checking sources. If a project announces a token and it's on a Twitter profile that seems to be theirs, you can cross-reference that with the website is their official website. With a device that is not connected to a wallet, you can do a number of checks across the internet to help you verify. And I would say, like you said a minute ago, it's up to you to sell the token or move the token or engage with the thing. But I absolutely think that there's so many ways that simply, without exposing yourself to a lot of risk, you can start to verify for yourself that at the very least, you should start gathering more information. You don't have an excuse just to click because of, I don't know, FOMO. Because on the other end of that transaction, if it is malicious, is it worth it?
Exactly.
I don't think so.
And then also there is the way for scammers to avoid you being able to do your research. And I've seen plenty of times on BSC specifically, because of how easy it is to launch a token, scammers will basically start a new Telegram group, invite thousands of bots. It will look super popular because, that's exactly what the purpose of it is. Yeah. And they will not release a smart contract address before the launch itself. And then the FOMO does kick in because you're saying, okay, I have an opportunity here to make money. I don't have the means to do my research. And I now need to decide within seconds, do I go and buy the token? Do I just wait to see what there is in the smart contract? Is it even verified? Is there an ABI to it? Like, what is happening there? And you will not always be able to do your research in time. And then it either goes to you bought the token because FOMO, and you're stuck with it now because, again, FOMO without research, or you just wait and you do your research, you learn that, maybe it's legitimate, maybe it's not, but you took your time and you missed the very low price. So I would say always, the best approach is to take the risk of losing the very low price and not just FOMO into something because, sure, it will be cheap, but it will be a scam. It will be a cheap scam.
Yeah, and you're not ever in a great headspace when you're experiencing those irrational feelings of FOMO and fear and all of that stuff to make a financial decision. That is not the time to make a decision, especially if you're doing it with semi-untested technology like this, and especially like SkullElf said, if you haven't taken the time to do really any digging. And unfortunately, there's a tremendous number of voices on the internet that tell you the things you should look for are a very active social group or very active founders or whatever, and simply posting a lot or buying a lot of bot accounts is, activity. Sure,
It's par for the course, man.
Yeah. So really quick, as we kind of wrap up here, Evan, I wanted to take a quick break and have you give out the second half of the secret word.
You read my mind, my friend. You read my mind. The second half of the secret word for today is another phrase. Security is key. Take it from me. Security is key. If you put that second half of the secret phrase together with the first part of the secret phrase, I know it's long, but it's easy. Write it down, remember it, take it to the POAP bot in our Discord, and you can mint your very own POAP. And I've got to just show you this real quick. Let me see if I can't. How do I? Oh man, I don't know if it's gonna let me do it.
I think you can present.
Let me present my screen. I just want to show it to you because in honor of our guest, here you go. Hang on. How about this POAP art today? Boom.
Yes.
Hit him with the llama. That's in honor of our guest, SkullElf. So mint your POAP now. Claim it at the bot in our Discord. The instructions are right below this space. SkullElf, as we bring things to a close, I want to ask people how they can get in touch with you, some resources you recommend, but we do have one or two quick questions I wonder if you'd answer. I actually don't know this one myself. I've never heard this. Lisa asked, talk about Cyrillic hacks and dupe websites. What is a Cyrillic hack?
I would actually start with the dupe websites. So you will often run into basically phishing websites, also called evil twins. And it's a website that will basically look the exact same as the one you know that you're trying to get to. And it looks the same. It obviously it isn't, because we are talking about it. And you will end up putting your seed phrase or keys or key store with password or whatever into it, and you're screwed, because only after you uploaded the file or the secret or whatever, that's the first time you will actually check, wait, did I do the right thing? Did I put it into the right URL? Did I put into the right website? And that's when you learn that you're screwed.
Sorry, Charlie.
I actually had several cases of helping people who fell for that. One of them was actually a public one that I talked about in my Twitter, where someone was trying to log into Ledger Live from a new computer, and they entered an ad, which was the first result, not the actual Ledger Live, it was Ledger Lives. And they entered the credentials, and they lost everything. It was I think around 6-7 Ethereum and a lot of other assets on different blockchains. And it was pretty massive. They came to me asking for help because they still had assets staked in Elrond. And I helped them recover the assets before the hacker had a chance to actually put a hand on it. And
awesome.
It will not happen again to them. Like, I have no doubt, because it was painful enough to actually learn from it. Thing is, it happened to plenty of other people. Take your time and read these threads. Like, look into the information there, because it might actually save you from doing this mistake yourself. And it's everywhere. It always happens. And let's talk about something that I've seen recently, and it happens actually a lot.
Okay.
When you join a new Discord of a project, you're all familiar with the term bot raid, and basically it's a bunch of self bots raiding the Discord. What is a self bot? It's basically a regular account that is just being controlled by code instead of the Discord UI. So they will take the token of the account, and they will basically just interact with the API directly from code instead of the UI, and they will get all the information they need from there. They will be able to send you messages from there. They will be able to fetch events of when you, like a new user, join the server, and they will immediately shoot you a message saying, "Welcome to the Faceless Many. Please verify your wallet here," and send you a link to a malicious website that allows you to upload your, seed phrase, key store, whatever. And you didn't even have a chance to see any channel there. As soon as you joined, they immediately messaged you, and you got a DM. Obviously, you go and check it, and you see that, and you say, "Oh, okay, like it makes sense. I just joined.
Yeah.
So let's verify the wallet." And a lot of people actually fall for that. And then immediately after they verify their wallet, via that scam, they would verify that they are not a bot in the server, in the verification channel or whatever, in the introduction channel, and they will go to general chat and say, "Hey, I'm new here. I just verified my wallet." And then the founder will go, "You did what?"
Yeah.
And that's when you know that you lost everything.
You've been hacked.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, because there is no verification, and the founder will not even get a chance to actually communicate and interact with you before this incident, because it happens immediately when you enter the server. The founder doesn't even necessarily, the founder, by the way, all the moderators, they don't know you just joined. It happened literally immediately. And that's why you also didn't get a chance to actually read the information there or check if this is legitimate. And yeah, it's everywhere these days, especially around crypto.
Yeah. I make it up, it's not much, but I'm hyper aware of that specific problem. I see people fall victim to it a lot. I always say, if I ever DM, because I DM people in our server a lot, and it always gets to me a little bit because I know it's inherently sketchy. It's just like, it is just the vibe with a Discord DM. If you're in any sort of server that is in the space, that it's a sketchy thing when someone DMs you, especially since often when I'm DMing somebody, I'm trying to help them through a problem. And so there is sometimes like an ask for any kind of information. And I always just give the disclaimer for the first one, like, "This is who I am. Go into the main general chat and like drop a screen grab of this whole thing, and I'll verify publicly, or I'll even tag you publicly in the general before I send the message and just be like, hey, I'm about to DM you. It's going to come from this account," because I have server profiles on everything, but even so, it should be a sketchy thing. If somebody DMs you just out of the blue, that you're not expecting, treat it like an email with an attachment on it that you weren't expecting to get.
We had a really good idea here from our friend Dave, who made the joke. We've all seen the DMs that tell you are a winner, and he suggested, and this might be a good content idea for you, SkullElf, if you made a series where you got a burner wallet and then accepted a few exploits just to show people what happens, and then talk them through it. I think that would be interesting to see. And I know you had said that you maybe didn't want to talk too much about the specifics of different kinds of hacks you see because you're worried about people replicating them. But we did have a question I wanted to ask and let you say whether or not you'd like to answer it. It's from our friend Brendan, who asked about smart contract exploits, and also where generally do exploits in Web3 usually happen. And I imagine he's asking, does it happen at a contract level, at a founder ignorance level, at a user ignorance level? Would you like to comment on that at all?
So in regards to smart contracts, it will often lay in in issues related to authorization and permissions management, labeling who the let's take a marketplace, for example.
Okay, sure.
You list an NFT for sale. The marketplace is basically saving, along with the auction, like one of the fields is who the owner of this auction is, and only this owner should be able to withdraw the NFT when they want. And let's take an example of now there is a new marketplace. The developer has absolutely no idea what they are doing. They managed to get it to work, and we talked about it. People usually focus on making it work, not making it safe, and they don't check who the owner is. Now you, as a hacker, will go and tell the smart contract, hey, I want that NFT back, and it's not yours, and you know it. The marketplace didn't prepare to that, and when it happens and the smart contract sent the NFT to you, despite you not owning it, there is nothing even the founder of the marketplace can do. So that's in regards to smart contracts, at least here on Elrond, Multiverse X. And as we talked about it earlier, on BSC, we have stuff like drainers, dust, and we see that everywhere, basically. And yeah, that's kind of where it happens. Now, there are also hacks of permissions on the apps. You might be able to fake your connection, to fake your identity, to basically log in with other wallets. The question is how many measures of security the developers put into the platform, into the D app, to actually prevent that from happening. And if it does happen, what is the damage? What can happen there? And the first assessment any developer should do when they create a new feature is, can I develop it in a secure way? Now, I can tell you that personally, as a developer myself, I had many cases where I just avoided developing a feature because I can't do it securely and safe. And, sadly, there aren't many people who would say that. I can't do it securely, so I will not do it at all. People will do that and just hope that everything will be okay. And yeah, that's where they fall usually. And they're not the ones suffering. Their users are. And, they can very easily ban the user after they got hacked or lost assets or whatever. They can just ban them from everywhere. The victim will not be able to talk about it. And, sure, they can go and try to shame them on Twitter. The funder will just, add them to the list of haters. And it's a whole thing that is going on and happening everywhere. Every project has haters. And you will never know whether it's real or not, because when you hear the founder just blocked me from everywhere after I lost all my money because, he doesn't know what he's doing. Sure. You're invested in there. You want to believe that the founder knows what he's doing, so you will not believe the person complaining. And yeah, it's a big thing. It does happen, by the way. I'm not making it up. I saw it happen several times already. And it's sad that it can happen and people can believe the founder because, I would look at it and say, I'm a security guy. I can do my own research. Other people can't. They don't have the tools, the knowledge, the skills to do it. And they will just blindly follow a founder that is going to take their money.
Now, SkullElf, I want to give Alex the last question because I know he's got to go and we want to wrap it up. We want to be respectful of your time. So as Alex brings the last question, I'm going to go ahead and share just on the screen real quick your Twitter profile. This is Bot. And folks who can get in touch with you, I know they can get in touch with you here. Alex, do you want to take it home with the last question, and then SkullElf will give you a final thought?
For sure. Yeah, so again, obviously, just thank you for taking the time and coming on. This has been super, super value-packed We could easily do this for another couple hours. But I just wanted to see if you had any quick recommendations for resources that people can use to start to do a little bit more research into how they can improve their own personal web security as it pertains to Web 2 or Web 3 applications. Just any pro tips.
And I would add too, if they want to learn, like for example, I don't want to do what you do from like a computer perspective, but somebody might. And I personally would love to be on like a red team, to be the guy who walks into the bank and is like, oh, I'm so sorry. I forgot my checkbook. I'm having a bad day. Can you help me out? Like, I would love to know how I get into that, because come on, right? I'm ready.
So the first thing I would say is learn the basics, understand the protocols that, you're using a web browser. Are you actually able to tell me right now what protocols are used in the background, what HTTPS means in opposed to HTTP? Are you able to tell me about the different layers of the protocol? Are you able to talk about the methods of sending requests? What is even a request? What happens in the handshake between the client and the server? Like all of that, that's the basic. You need to know that in order to be able to actually approach the field of cybersecurity. And there are tons of books like from ages ago, and they are fantastic. You can just start reading about protocols, about how browser works, about how communication works, about encryption, about hashing, about, it's a massive list of things that you need to learn. When I first got into ethical hacking, the company I started working in was extremely busy. I had no background in hacking at all at the time. Back then, I just had a background in digital forensics and recovering data from basically storage devices. And they just gave me a book of 700 pages. And instead of actually reading it, I just put text-to-speech and put my headphones, and 3 weeks later, I'm a hacker, because I know what I need to focus on, and I know with my mindset how to approach the protocols and the knowledge I just acquired, and how to actually apply the new skills I have on the task that I have. Like, okay, so I have a new app that I need to start testing, and I know how the protocol works. I know what HTTP requests are. I know that there is a body, there are parameters. The browser is sending data to the server, expects to get data back. Let's try to interfere with that. And then you need the programs to do it. And it's an entire thing to get into. And the best tip I have is, don't at any point consider yourself to be an expert unless you can actually prove that to others. Not to yourself, to others. If you can convince people who actually understand in cybersecurity that you're an expert, you're fine. Until then, you're not.
Good words. Good words. Alex, do you have any final thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom, parting shots?
No, that was epic. Thank you again for taking the time to come on and do this. It would be awesome to make this a segment that we do at some other point in the future. But from me and everyone watching, I appreciate it. This was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Is there any last resource we've got your Twitter. Is there anywhere else you would ask people to find you, or any final asks you have of the folks watching now or in the future? I'm
pretty active on a lot of Discords. You can find the pink llama over there. It changes every few weeks. It's really refreshing to create new pink llamas.
Do you make those yourself? Or do you
I
find them in different places?
I don't want to answer that, but the answer is Midjourney, because it's really easy and good.
Shout out Midjourney.
So
endless pink llama.
Exactly. I can just create an entire army of them. I don't think you want that to happen. But there is Discord and Twitter, basically.
Awesome.
Good deal.
Feel free to reach out. If you have any question, by the way, about security, or, you want to ask for an advice, or hire my services as an actual business that I started to provide these services of automation tools, security consultancy, ethical hacking, or security reviews, yeah, I'm more than happy to help.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I am going to wrap us up, as I always do, with a crypto fortune cookie. And today's cookie says, it's a good time to secure that which matters to you. It's a good time to secure that which matters to you. So, my friends, stay safe, stay secure. SkullElf, thank you for helping us be more secure. Reach out to SkullElf at BobItBot or on Discord, and reach out to us here in the comments. Let us know what other security questions you have, what else you want to see on the show. Be sure to share your POAP, show some llama love at BobItBot so we can just get a flood of llamas on the timeline. Alex and I are going to be back Monday morning somewhere at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. That's 1 p.m. UTC, with more of the official morning show of the financial revolution. Until next time, my friends, let's go out with a little security. Rise up.
I want security, yeah. Without it, I got a great law. Oh, now security, yeah. And I want it at any cost.
What'd you think about it, Alex?
Oh,
Hey, man. And that's just
don't
bullshit.
want no money right now.
Gurus are idiots.
I have all of these things, yeah.
Not ideal.
All of these things, yeah.
I can't say that despite all your hard work, I feel overabundance.
Security, yeah. That's all from you. Oh, now security, yeah.
I will absolutely die on this.
Love that will be true. Oh,
It's just stupid.
those sweet tender lips, you know they tell me that you're the one for me. Oh, how can I forget? How can I forget? Yeah.
I feel uniquely qualified to share this opinion, so here you go. As you know, we are just two people sharing their opinions on the internet.
I want security, yeah. I'm telling you once again. Oh, now, security. And I want it in the end. Oh. Those sweet tender lips,
Hey, man.
you know they tell me that
Hey, man.
you're the one for me.
Hey, man.
Darling, how can
Hey,
I
man.
forget?
Hey, man.
How can I forget?
Hey, man.
Come on.
Hey, man.
Just a minute, so bad now, baby. No, everything's gonna be all right. One more time.
Little old Brad is a dumbass.
Don't it sound pretty good, baby? That's good. Yeah, yeah,
As Alex always says,
I will absolutely die on this hill. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
rise up, everybody. See ya.